What's going on, Celtics fans? Welcome into Celtics Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Allie Barefoot. I just want to hop on here real quick to give you guys an at-home version of this video to talk about the Boston Celtics' possible matchup on Sunday for the first round of the NBA playoffs. Of course, the play-in tournament happened yesterday, the first round of it for the Eastern Conference. The Miami Heat were not strong enough to take on Joel Embiid and the 76ers, so the Miami Heat lost, and they move on to game number 2 of the play-in, while the 76ers will now face the New York Knicks, the number 2 seed. However, the fight for the number 8 seed will take place tomorrow versus the Bulls and the Heat after the Bulls wipe the floor with Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks, ending their season and sending them home. So, with the Bulls and the Heat matchup on Friday, which, I'm going to be honest, I did expect the Bulls to beat the Hawks. They've been really riding these last 10 games, but to have the Heat fall by just 1 to the 76ers does make me think that maybe the Heat might not be a big enough challenge for the Chicago Bulls to fully keep them out of the playoffs altogether. So I want to hop on here, talk about the Heat, talk about the Bulls, and what the Celtics could be facing moving forward on Sunday. But before I start and get into any of that, I want to go on ahead and ask you guys one simple question. Who would you rather play? The Miami Heat, going ahead and type your H's down below. If you want to face Chicago Bulls, type your B's down below. Personally, it can go either way. If you're going to play the Bulls, I'm going to think you might have a little bit of an easier matchup. Not saying the Bulls are not good. I just watched a very scrappy game against the Hawks. But with the Heat, you could also get a revenge game. Knock them out the first round, and you get to move on. But I'm going to go on ahead and hop into a quick injury update for both teams that could be extremely significant for the Celtics on Sunday. Unfortunately, Jimmy Butler did get a little shaken up against the 76ers on Thursday night. So with that being said, Wednesday night. With that being said, Jimmy Butler, Shams Charania did give an injury update saying Miami Heat star Jimmy Butler is feared to have an MCL injury in his knee. Sources did tell The Athletic the injury could sideline Butler for an indefinite period, but an MRI is to come. At this time that I am making this video, right after that Bulls-Hawks game, there is an MRI that is going to show the significance of Jimmy Butler's injury. However, what really frustrates me is that I wanted to play Jimmy Butler, and hopefully he is okay and can come back if the Heat do beat the Bulls, but I wanted to be able to have that revenge game over Jimmy Buckets. Of course, we do hope that he is okay, but that could be a huge injury update heading into tomorrow's night matchup for the number 8 seed, because Alex Caruso also got injured versus the Bulls and the Hawks game. Caruso's injury is a little bit different because Andre Drummond pretty much crushed him like roadkill in transition. That was tough. If you guys saw LeBron James take the charge against Zion Williamson the other night, that's what Andre Drummond did to Alex Caruso, but they're on the same team. Caruso has a significant right foot sprain, according to Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN, and his availability versus Miami on Friday with the 8th seed is on the line, is in doubt. Sources tell ESPN Andre Drummond stepped on his foot versus the Hawks in a play-in victory last night. So that's extremely unfortunate, but not having Caruso, not having Jimmy Butler, I mean, this game can go either way, which could mean the Celtics could either get maybe an easier route or more of a revenge game route. Once again, not saying the Bulls are a contender that the Celtics should sleep on at all. They have just as many resources, but the way that the season has been rolling for the Bulls makes me think the Celtics might be able to overpower them. I'm going to break down the Celtics matchup against either the Bulls or the Heat on Sunday. But before I hop into that, I do want to tell you guys about Prize Picks. Even though I'm not in the studio here today, Prize Picks is still our sponsor, and I'm playing it all the time, even when I'm at home, even when I'm in a different studio at Chat Sports, or when I'm in front of the camera talking to you guys. So I do want to break down Prize Picks. It's the #1 daily fantasy sports app. All you have to do is pick more or less on a player's projected stats, and you can win up to 100 times your money on any entry. I've got it right here on my phone, or you guys can go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Both work great, and I love playing it, especially right now when they have numerous promotions going on. This was my pick for last night, as Prize Picks was giving me a $20 protected play. You can either pick all 3 NBA teams, put down about up to $20 on your selection, and they're going to protect it, win or lose. you will get your money back. So with Prize Picks, I always love combining NBA with MLB. I love baseball this time of the year, but as of right now in the postseason, I'm going to focus on the NBA, but you can mix and match. You can go ahead and make your Prize Picks right now at prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use that promo code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It is truly that easy. Let me break down some stats here for the Chicago Bulls and what they did during the NBA regular season. When it comes to their team stats, they kind of ranked pretty low when it comes to NBA rankings. 22nd in the NBA, they averaged about 112 points per game. However, they completely crushed that out of the water when they smoked the Atlanta Hawks. They scored over 130 points, but it was one player in particular, one player that I have been just fangirling over since he has been popping off this year. Personally, he is my most improved player. It's got to be Coby White. Coby White dropped a 40-piece on Trae Young and DeJounte Murray in a must-win or go-home game. He had 9 boards. He's 6'5". He really reminds me of Peyton Pritchard. And I do believe they would be a very good matchup going head-to-head. The Celtics have already swept the Bulls this entire season. 3-0. They know the Bulls. They've played them before. DeMar DeRozan, Coby White, Vucevic, who has one of the nicest, softest touches I have seen from the mid-range. I do think the Bulls still have lethal weapons to be able to handle the Celtics in a 7-game series. So hopefully I'm going to need the Boston Celtics to really rely on their bench pieces as well to continue to give those Celtics more reps. Off the bench, allow those starters to rest because you're really going to have to hone in on players like Vucevic, like DeMar DeRozan, and Coby White if Alex Caruso is not ready to play by Sunday, if the Bulls do win. Coby White went on to have 6 assists, 2 steals, and shot 71% from the field. He was hot, but he also does have the skills to be able to keep going with the Boston Celtics. But going on the other end here to the Miami Heat, and what they could bring to the floor. If there is no Jimmy Butler, like Shams Charania has said, he could be sidelined indefinitely. That's huge going up against the Celtics. But that's not their only weapon. Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, Terry Rozier, Caleb Martin, they still have numerous different outlets on offense and on defense. And Bam Adebayo gives plenty of bigs in this league a hard time, including Kristaps Porzingis and Al Horford. So that is going to be a serious fight, a dogfight in the paint for as many games as it will take to ultimately end up in the second round. If you look at their team stats through the 2023-24 NBA regular season, averaging about 110 points per game. So not as much as the Bulls. They're ranked 27th in the NBA, shooting about 46.4% from the field, tied with 23rd. I got 42.5 rebounds per game, 25.8 assists per game. So clearly, they do not rank above the 15th place in any of these categories through the regular season. They have had a lot of injuries, though, once again with Jimmy Butler possibly not playing. I do think the Celtics could have an upper hand, partially because the Heat that played the Celtics last year, the AC that made it all the way to the finals, they just don't look like the same team to me, and that's okay. We're not the same team we were last year. Personally, we got better, but you know what I mean. It's still going to be a very good matchup, a very scrappy matchup, and I do think that with or without Butler, if he does play on Friday, if he does play on Sunday, the Celtics are going to have to bring their absolute A game, and that's why I'd prefer to play the Miami Heat, because the way the Celtics have been playing recently, I just want to make sure that they do still have that intensity. They do still have that drive and that aggression to want to win, because I didn't see that in the last 10 games of the regular season. And I get it, Allie. It's the regular season. We played the Hornets like twice. I understand. But if you started off with the Heat, you give them that revenge game, it's going to spark their interest a lot quicker than maybe the Bulls, which they could have looked at them throughout the regular season as another opponent that they could easily win over. So I'm just going to need the same aggression going against the Bulls or the Heat, no matter who wins. So I will be back tomorrow to bring you guys more updates about the Celtics' possible first-round matchup. We will find out who they will play after the Bulls and the Heat do play at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday. We'll know more. We'll see who we're playing in that first round, as the 76ers will take on the New York Knicks in round 1 of the NBA playoffs. So as always, hit that sub button for me if you guys want to be completely informed on everything Boston Celtics, especially heading into one of the most historic runs the Boston Celtics could have since 2008. On their journey to Banner 18, all you guys have to do, hit that sub button. I got you covered.